Guys, it's Fonzie with DipYourCar.com, world famous peelable car and wheel paint. Now with all the people that have been dipping their wheels over the past 4 to 5 years, man, I've seen a lot of different methods to protect the tire from dip when you're spraying your wheel. Of course, the purpose of the project is to coat your wheel with dip and end up with a nice clean tire when you're done. I've seen people try to cover their tires with painter's tape. I've seen them try to stick index cards and playing cards around the edge of the wheel. Now, some methods work okay, others work really well. Let me show you the best, most foolproof way to mask off the tires when you're dipping your wheels to make sure you have a nice, perfect end result. Enjoy the video. Now, we've got a stock Mustang wheel here. We're going to be dipping it in graphite metallizer. Nice, beautiful, dark metallic color. Now the idea is, again, to make sure that the wheel is coated in Plasti Dip and not the tire. Here's what we're going to do. This little bottle is dip release. It's super cheap. It's less than $3 on DipYourCar.com, and actually you can get it included in a lot of the wheel kits to make sure you have everything you need to get the job done. What we're going to do with dip release is take a microfiber towel, shake it up, apply some of it to the microfiber towel, and we're going to apply the dip release, which of course helps the dip release off the tire, all the way around the sidewall of the tire. You're going to make sure that you work it in between all the little nooks and crannies and letters and everything that's inside the writing of the rubber here, and work your way all the way around. Now I like to do 2 passes of dip release. The first pass is just a generalized pass in the middle and outside sections. So I'll come in through the middle here, and then I'll come up around, because you're going to get some overspray on the top of the tire here. But I'll stay away from this inner ridge, and I'll show you why in a second. Work all the way around. And you want to make sure that you apply enough of it so that the entire sidewall looks wet. If you have a really old dry tire, it may take a little bit extra, or maybe 2 passes in that area before it actually is saturated and looks wet. Now, the reason why we're going to stay away from that inner ridge is because, of course, dip release is going to really help the Plasti Dip release off of the surface. You don't want the Plasti Dip to release off of the edge of the wheel. So when it comes time to do that inner edge, you're going to take just a little bit on the rag and work that inner edge nice and careful to make sure that you don't touch the saturated rag to the edge of the wheel. It's not going to do you any good to get dip release on here, peel the dip off nice and clean, only to have one of the edges of the wheel lift up and away. So be very careful as soon as you start saturating this rag with dip release that you're not going to touch any part of the wheel with this rag. So I'm going to take my time, work my way around the entire wheel and all the edges, come back, and we're going to be ready to spray. Now we've applied the dip release around the sidewall of the tire, all the way up back here to protect from any overspray, and on that inside edge. One thing I like to do personally is I like to take the pre-dip spray, which is what I use to clean off the wheel. Whatever you used to clean the wheel off will work well. Just put a little bit on the microfiber towel in a spot that you did not use the dip release. You could use another towel or a paper towel if you want to. And I like to run that pre-dip spray right along the edge of the wheel, just in case I got any dip release on the edge of the wheel. Sometimes that one little run around will help save your butt a little bit. Now we're going to start laying our coats down on the wheel. We're going to start again with black Plasti Dip. We're going to get about 5 coats of black Plasti Dip down, and then come in with 2 coats of the graphite metallizer. At this point, we're only working on 1 wheel. If I was doing all 4 wheels, this one little bottle of dip release is enough for all 4 wheels. You'll probably still have a little bit left over. So let's start spraying the wheels now. Now we're ready to start applying our coats of Plasti Dip. I got my black here, I got my respirator. Now one of the things you have to make sure you do on each wheel is you're going to apply the Plasti Dip along all surface areas of the wheel, inside the spokes, inside the lug nut areas, all the way around. And then at the end of every coat, you're going to come in and do 1 wet coat all the way around the sidewall of the tire. The more product you get on the sidewall of the tire, the better and easier it's going to peel when you're ready to break down your project. So what we're going to do is start now, and every coat at the end, we're going to put a nice thick application around the tire. Now, all in all, we have 5 coats of black Plasti Dip as our base and 2 wet coats of graphite metallizer on top. Beautiful, sharp, deep metallic finish. After our last coat of graphite metallizer, we waited about 40 minutes for everything to dry completely, and you can already see that the Plasti Dip is just jumping up off the tire. Now, we cleaned the edges of the wheel real well, so everything's sealed and bonded well. However, it's almost jumping right off the tire. So what we're going to do is just pick an edge, and we're going to start working the Plasti Dip away from the tire. Now, it should peel away nice and clean, but just keep an eye on the edges just to make sure there isn't anything bonded or stuck. If there is, you can just peel it right off. And here comes the majority of all of your overspray. Now, in my book, that is considerably easier than worrying about painter's tape or anything else. Now, if there's anything left on the edge, like down here, you can peel it off, or you can take your microfiber towel and just give the edges a quick rub down. Anything that's left on there will just remove away nice and easy. Now, if you extended the dip release outside of the sidewall, back here where there might have been some overspray that got hit, anything back there will just rub away real easy with the microfiber. Now we've got a perfectly clean tire and a perfectly dipped wheel. Now, it doesn't get any easier or more effective than that when you're dipping your wheels and you want to make sure that you end up with nice clean tires. Now, is Dip Release the only product in the world that will perform like that? No, of course not. There are some tire shine type products that will work in similar fashion. There are other tire shine type products that won't work at all. All I can promise you is that Dip Release will do exactly what it's supposed to do every single time. It's a proven and tested product, very inexpensive, less than $3 for as much as you need for 4 wheels on DipYourCar.com. And of course, when you're building your wheel kit, you can add Dip Release in there as well. Everything you saw us use today, from the Dip Release to the Plasti Dip, is all available for you directly at DipYourCar.com. If you have any questions, CustomerService at DipYourCar.com, or call in and speak to one of our reps. It's Fonzie. I'll see you on the next video.